All right, everybody, it's Go Team Coach Call for our August 14th, ready to rock and roll here. Like I said, I got my IU hat here. My girl just did some awesome things. I'm very excited about all of that good stuff and we just dropped her off, which was one of the saddest things I've ever done in my life. Just got to be real. Feel like you left part of your heart behind as you dropped off of college. But it's all good. We definitely want to see her soar. So thank you for your prayers during that time and the transition that is going to continually be as we walk past her empty room. Anyway, so for those of you who have experienced or will experience that, you know what I'm talking about. All right, so here we go. Equipping and inspiring, that's what we do. And so we're doing that tonight as we get into some content about challenge groups. Now, guys, this is very key in my world, okay? And I want to get into this in just a second, but I want to mention this quote before we even head into our recognition. But I want to talk about things that we can be doing to start, so when we starve our distractions and we feed our focus, we ultimately end up taking steps towards goals much better, okay? Because really often, guys, distractions are really just often can be, as I understand it, it ends up being masked fear. Okay, so we actually provide, we almost seek out in my world. So this is my personal experience because I do this too. Is I will seek out sometimes distractions to avoid. It's avoidance behavior. So, and I always throw cat videos on YouTube under the bus, but I do. But it's when you watch cat videos and because you don't want to do the thing that you really like. So you're actually it's a form of escapism going, you know what? Or that binging on Netflix of something. It's like, oh, let's binge watch 4 episodes. Oh, I could have just watched 1 episode, but now I'm going to do 4. You know what I mean? Kind of a thing. That's where you end up, feeding your distractions instead of starving them. Okay? So the more we can do that, the more we're actually going to feed our focus. And the big thing is that when you feed your focus, I want to hear from you guys real fast. You know what? I'll tell you what. We'll get to that in just a second. I'm going to do some quick recognition, and then we'll hit that in our chat shout out here. Props to Nancy, who's rocking it, getting some 6 points on her way to Success Club. Not even quite halfway through the month, so on track for Success Club 10 for her first time, which would be really, really great. And you've hit success. Is this your first time hitting a Success Club? Dude, I'm going to totally shout that out, just so you know. So that's amazing. So let's all hear it. Let's hear it for Nancy. We're going to open up the horns on that one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Open up, Nancy. Let's clap for you. Yay! Good job, Nancy. Good work. Success Club 5 for the first time, which means ultimately you're starting to head towards, well, first of all, you win Team Cup swag, right? You just for personally your own. So that level 1 swag is yours, which is great. How fun is that? And I got notified for Success Club for last month. I get very cool Shift Shop shirt, which is going to be really fun. So Shift Shop shirt, say that 5 times fast, right? There we go. So good stuff. Congrats to you on that. Okay, now for the chat shout out, and technically, guys, here's what we're going to do because we've got a small number on the call. We're not going to do a chat shout out. We're just going to shout out. We're going to turn on our microphones and we'll do this. What tends to be your biggest distraction challenge when it comes to working your business, particularly? What tends to be the squirrel, right? Squirrel. What tends to be your biggest distraction challenge when it comes to this? I'll talk as well, but I'd like to hear from you. Nancy, since you are the top on the Success Club chart right now, you could share first.
I was kind of hoping to get ideas from others.
Oh, okay.
I do have to say I really struggle with this because I have a hard time identifying what is actually a distraction, what's a necessity. Because I'll be honest with you, and please don't, this stays within this group.
Sure.
Work right now is really slow. Yeah. And I've been doing a lot of my stuff at work, and that feels really uncomfortable, but, I do work
when you can still adequately do the job and Right. Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you. Totally.
But I don't know. I'm really having a hard time because I don't watch TV.
Yep.
I do the things that I need to do around here. So I'm just really having a hard time identifying what is a distraction, what is something.
Okay. It's okay if you don't have one specifically right now that you can identify. We can talk about it. So I'll share real fast, and then we'll let you guys kind of cover in it. But so for me, guys, it really obviously has to do with where I've got it's the fact that I'm being pulled in so many different directions right now. So the whole Anna going off to college thing was a very big, and I'm not saying it's life, so it's weird to call it a distraction, but it is somewhat a distraction. And there was all of the build up to that. I mean, how many shopping trips did we have to take that last week to get all the final stuff and things like that? So there's a lot that was going on there. So that's one, of course, and then number two, me starting school this week. That's been a big thing. So, me prepping for a whole new world that I haven't done in 17 years. Dude, that's like, and everything has changed. I mean, a lot has changed in 17 years. So I've got to learn, catching up with all that stuff. And then, of course, I have even a church job that I do on Sundays. So, so it's like, man, a lot of stuff going on. So it's a matter of me, which is really why I appreciated a lot of what Jen shared the other week when she shared some what she's doing for her morning routine. That helps me really kind of settle on what my morning routine somewhat needs to be as well. And even it's funny because this morning I recognized it as I got up. This is crazy, very specific. Got up this morning, was going to do my Miracle Morning stuff. Then what happened, and Nancy would know this because she knows the app, Insight Timer. There was an update on Insight Timer that locked up my iPad, so I couldn't use my normal meditation time that way. So I was like, and then I picked up my phone to do it because I have it also on my phone, and that like tends to update better than my older iPad. So, and then guess what? There was a text there, a couple texts, and there was an email. And I'm like, well, hey, I should hit those red little buttons, or those red little numbers are looking at me. I should, tap. So I started tapping stuff and doing like urgent stuff. So for me, guys, it tends to be more about when it comes to like either social media or texting or email. I you guys get the sense that I just want to like know what's going on. I want to keep up, right? I want to keep up with everything. I want to, like, someone emails me, I want to like answer right away. It's like, oh, there's a little package I get to open. Yay, how exciting. And it's actually it actually takes me on a rabbit trail. And then honestly, and this is studies show, guys, in corporate America, this is one of the biggest distractions. Email tends to be one of the biggest distractions to staying focused on tasks, because what ends up happening is you let somebody else's agenda then dictate your agenda, is what ends up happening, okay? And that can be messaging, it can any form of that, whether it's texting or whatever, but email too. All that can be the case. So for me, that's my kind of distraction. Who else has one that they might want to share? Bonnie, you want to share from the dark there? I'll unmute you.
Okay, I'm unmuted. Yes, time is a big thing. Getting up at 4:30 doesn't make it easy because I get home and I'm ready for a nap.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And then by the time that, it's time to get other things done. And so time runs into a lot of trouble. And then the other thing, even in the morning when I have a little bit of time, one of the things I'm trying to do, because I'm bad about doing, is making connections with others, and then I get caught up in it. And I spend way too much time with making connections, and then I don't have time to get invites and that type of stuff done because
Sure.
I'm now out of time.
Yep, it is. And that can be the case, especially, you're right. So I think it's probably one of those things. I love what Jen recommended was the timer situation. And so I got 10 minutes, and when that thing is done, even if I'm in the middle of a message or maybe just finish up that last message, bam, and move on. Even if you didn't get all 5 of them that you wanted to do or whatever, all 10 or whatever you end up doing.
Okay.
Yeah, that for me tends to be a good help.
Okay.
Claire, can you talk, girl?
Yep. Can you hear me?
I sure can.
Okay. Oh, well, a lot of what you say, all the distractions with emails and messages. I guess at home here at night, it's been my son. But I'm trying to manage that. Let's see.
You guys have the
Really need to
trampoline
get-
now, right? Trampoline?
Yes, I've got that. Yeah, and that's where he's at right now, and he's doing well. I think in the mornings, I just need to get a better routine as far as personal development. I just get up and I do my workout and I make my lunch, or I make my meals, and which my meals actually only take like 15 minutes. It's just throwing it in the bag, but just I need to make more time for myself, and then also inviting, or just maybe I need to do all the birthdays first thing in the morning, so that would just start something.
Yeah, not a bad idea.
I don't know. I just have some kind of like routine to just start talking, and if someone messages me and I get it in the morning, then I need to focus on that, and then do the birthdays later. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I have the same thing with distractions and that little red button.
Yeah, everybody loves it. And that's why Facebook, you know, they're on something, man. They want you doing that, right? They want you engaged. So the more you engage, the more you see their ads and all that kind of stuff. So, but I would say, you know, maybe, and this is a thing that I'm finding, especially as I head back into working world, is the fact that I need to be able to, I'm absolutely making sure that I've got my lunch and snacks packed the night before. Like, it's all done. It's all set the night before. There's no reason why I can't refrigerate all that stuff the night before. And even if it takes me that extra 10 minutes, then I'm not you understand? Because I think what I was thinking about when it comes to that, at least I've made those decisions ahead of time. And really, guys, one of the things that is most difficult when it comes to any behavioral change is what they call decision fatigue, right? And the more decisions we have to make, even little tiny ones, the more you have to make those decisions, the more they actually take you away from the things where you have to really focus some energy. So maybe that would be a suggestion for you, just to get your lunch, you know what you're going to probably eat, probably, you know, and it doesn't really change it from the morning from the evening. It's just like, take that extra 10 minutes in the night, it's already set to go, and then you just grab and go. And you're like, I think for me, it's kind of like almost auto posting for groups, which we'll get into here in a second. But it's like, when that post is done, you guys get that ever? So if you're posting for a group and you've got that post already taken care of, and you know it's set for the morning, isn't there like an ease in your spirit sometimes where it's like, instead of, oh my gosh, I'm up at 6, now I got to come up with something, like, right? And we'll get into that in a second, but I think that could be the case. So, you know what, guys? I think I want to make good use of our time, and I would like to actually do this a little bit on an earlier side. So I'm going to move us on, but those are some suggestions with distractions. Nothing against y'all. For the rest of you, Andy, and for Debbie. By the way, Andy got on, just to make sure you saw it. Andy's got 2 points. Yoo-hoo! She got back on, and Claire, good by the way as well, and then Stephanie on 4 as well. I didn't mention all those guys, but we were shouting out Nancy so much. I want to make sure everybody gets that recognition. Okay. So, guys, Team Cup is still happening. Just want to encourage you, get some points on the board if you can. Okay. Get some points on the board if you are on a team. And really what that means is you're going to make a difference in somebody's life. And that means you're going to actually take that time to be inviting to something. Okay, so you got to have something to invite to. By the way, I will hopefully have very quickly here, my intention is to have a coach sneak peek event, which is going to be the last Monday. So we got one more team call this month, and then we'll have on the 28th, we're going to have our sneak peek. You can start thinking about that for some of you who have maybe challenge groups going on, and you want to invite somebody to a sneak peek to actually consider what it means to be a coach. And I'm just going to say, guys, this is one of the biggest things that I had the biggest trouble with initially, early on, was I just wouldn't, I would just stop people at like the you know, the level where it's like, oh yeah, you know what, you're a good challenger, maybe do a couple rounds, and then you can't afford Shakeology and you're done. That sort of ends up being, you know, instead of, it's like, hey, minimally, let's save you some money. And then beyond that, let's help you stay accountable to yourself and to your goals by you helping others. Okay. So just really want to remind you on that good stuff. So we'll have that on the 28th. Okay. So tonight, guys, we're going to talk about getting some engagement with challenge groups. Now, here's some comments that bet you sometimes say, okay, I wish people would comment more on my posts, right? Anybody? Yeah, when you post in a challenge group, it's like I post and then nobody really posts on it. Or they don't say, okay. I don't even know what to say to them. I wish I knew I had more stuff to say. Or I feel like I'm posting the same things, just the kind of the same old, okay? And I think those are, I think some of that has to do with a couple. There's two things that has to do with. Number one, it's really ultimately a posture of how you approach challenge groups. And if you approach a challenge, we'll get to that in just a second, how the posture you approach it with. And then number two is ultimately your responsibility for that challenge group. What does it mean? Like what are you actually responsible for and what are you not really responsible for when it comes to challenge group, okay? So let's cover the posture here real fast first, okay? Because when it comes to the posture of a challenge group, I think a lot of people sometimes, and this is, I've been on seasons, I've gone back and forth on this. I'm in probably a pretty good place as it relates to challenge groups right now. But I used to sort of see challenge groups as the necessary evil to develop a Beachbody business. It was like, just hate running these things, you know? It's just like I feel like people should just do what they're supposed to do. And get in, here's your program, suck it up, buttercup, and do it. I don't want to babysit you. I'm tired of it. That's, just being honest. That's where I was. And Claire's been along in the journey. She's known where we've been. We've all been like that, right? I think if we're being honest, okay? So that's where it is. But if you frame that as, so it's like, okay, so just shooting straight. As I'm starting teaching here, running into some teachers who have been teaching for a while and haven't been refreshed themselves. The approach was, like, literally, I heard a couple comments today. First day is coming up, and then only 179 days after. Like, literally, that's how you're starting your year. I'm like, I'm so sad for your kids. Like, you can say that in joking, but that ultimately has to play out to how you really, you know what I mean? I'm just saying. So, guys, when it comes to our challenge groups, if we can really start to take on an ownership of I don't know what you want to call it. I call mine a fit tribe, right? It's that group of people that we're going to help engage with and really start to shepherd along in a journey, and that they start to become kind of like lifers, like lifelong loopers. And that's okay, as long as the process keeps continuing. Now, there's some content, and we'll get into that in a second, that you can and you should probably be posting for each challenge. Because the truth is, just because somebody hears something once doesn't mean they learn it, right? Everybody knows that. So if we post something in a group, sometimes they need a reminder. Maybe you say it a little bit differently. Maybe you have a different picture that goes along with it. But honestly, here's the truth. You literally could probably copy paste the same exact content word-wise, put a different picture with it, and people wouldn't know the difference. 1 month later, it probably could happen, okay? I wouldn't recommend that on a regular basis, but I would say that is definitely possible and something you potentially could do, okay? Posture is number one. So when you have a posture that says, I have to do this, instead of I get to do this, I get the chance to actually engage with these people. I get a chance to not only inspire, but be inspired by their stories. And guys, honestly, sometimes if we recognize and see the littlest of wins, it'll fuel our fires to coach again. Okay, so if you're on that place where you're kind of drained, like that teacher I mentioned, that means your cup ultimately needs to probably be a little more full. Okay, so the posture is one thing. And then ultimately, it is that mindset that says, look, I'm going to have a full cup as I enter. And this is exactly what Claire was kind of covering just a second ago. So if she's not pouring into herself in the morning or sometime during the day, and so she's constantly in outpour mode, pour out, pour out, pour out, instead of input, having that input time, dude, of course you're going to be dry. Of course you're going to be dry. Your content's going to be dry because you're coming from an emotionally dry place. So the more we can actually find those things that restore us. And honestly, I'm just going to say to you, guys, this, maybe reading a personal development book isn't filling your cup. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's a walk out in nature would actually fill up your cup more. Lisa and I last night, we went around Mishawaka Park. We went the water park, or not water park, but down by the river there. Oh, the river walk down there, and we just walked for about 45 minutes, and it was so great just to be back out in nature and have that time restore. And so we would really encourage you guys to make sure you're having a full cup in order to then pour out to your challenges, because if you don't have that, you're going to be really messed. You'll come from a dry place. Okay. Now, let's start, guys, with why we actually do these challenge groups. So I want to get your feedback real fast and open up the horns. Why do we do these challenge groups in the first place? And you can't say because we want to earn more money, because that is important. Yes, it is. But that is, but I want to know why we actually do, because you can potentially earn money just by ultimately selling a challenge pack, right? So why do we do these challenge groups in the first place? Who's got it?
I'll say I've been involved in doing challenge groups. I've done some.
Yeah.
To me, the purpose of the challenge group is if I'm coaching several people, it's a vehicle for me to connect with them as a whole and get my message out to them, to all of them. But then as they comment, then I can interact with them individually. And that's kind of what I've seen with the free challenge groups is that, we do the post, we get the information out there, and then they engage, and then we can engage back with them. Yeah. So it's more for me, it's being able to connect with them without individually. You know what I mean? Yeah. Without calling each one once a week or whatever.
Absolutely. And you can, of course, still do that, and you probably should be doing some of that, as well. But I do agree. I think that's great. Okay. What else? Why do we have these challenge groups? Why do we do these?
I'll talk.
Yep.
Oh, just because to have a start date for someone to, hey, I want to do this, and you just say we're going to have a group, and you be part of it, and you get motivation and accountability, and so it's just having a start date.
Absolutely, that's a very practical reason to have a challenge group, because everybody needs a deadline, guys. Everybody's, whether they think it or not, we're all people who tend to procrastinate, right? Until the thing is some people are a little bit better at that than others, but really we procrastinate to the deadline. Okay. What else? One more.
Well, I'll add in there too.
Sure.
Kind of piggybacking a little on what Claire said. I think it's also human nature that, we need a deadline to start, but we also need to know that someone's wanting to know what we're doing. So we have these groups so that people can get on there and say, yes, I did my workout. Yes, I did my shake. Because a lot of times you think, no one's going to know. So maybe I'll just skip today. But if you have to say in your group, or, we're going to message them and say, how'd your week go? Or I didn't see you log.
Yep.
What's going on?
Yep. And I think, guys, that's a critical piece. And the interesting thing about it is this. And who said this? I forget. It was one of the personal development books that I'm reading. Oh, it's actually 12 Week Year. And he mentioned is like, you can hold a baby, you can hold a football, but you can't hold somebody else accountable. Right? So ultimately what you do by joining, what a challenger does by joining a challenge group, is actually holding themselves accountable. Right? And I think the most successful people end up getting the best results because they're ultimately holding themselves accountable. And then they just go, I'm going to post, and I know I'm just going to post because right? And you got my little, I don't know if you guys can see my thing, but because I said I would, remember, right? So because I said I would. And when that starts to happen, and Andy, that's what you did this last 21 days, because you said you would. There wasn't an excuse. You just did it. And that's why you got great results. True. Me, same thing. I said, I'm going to stick to the food plan. And normally, guys, just being truthful, like on a regular basis, most weeks, I'd have one or two beers on a regular basis on the weekend, kind of a deal, and a lot of evening snacking, pretty heavy on my carbs world, and that just didn't happen this time because I said I'm going to follow through on it, and that really helped me. Okay, so for me, that was just a really big shift in my brain. I think this last one. So I would just say that when you're holding yourself accountable, then what happens, guys? Those people who do that and get those results like that, ultimately, then those are the people then you can start tapping on the shoulder for the potential to become a coach. It's those people. I would just really have you discern that, to start to think about the people who are actually getting those kind of results versus the person who's just struggling and it's like, oh my gosh, I need you to call me every day and like blah, blah. That's like Dependo Challenger, right? Where they're like, man, dude, like you're draining me. It's like, I don't know if I want, like, I don't, like, I'll certainly help you, but it's like, if you don't hold me accountable, I'm not going to do my workout. It's like, what? You know what I mean? Like, and that's not shaming anybody, just so you know, I'm not saying that to shame anybody. But what I would say is that if the need ends up being there, it's like, if I can't do this because then ultimately we need to help you find a deeper place, right? Help a challenger find a deeper place in order to be able to commit to those behaviors ultimately, right? That's good. Now, here's the deal, okay? I'm going to talk about this as it relates to teaching, because this is my world lately, right? So Debbie, you're all in on this, right? Come on now. So outcomes-based teaching, you probably have heard of this, right? So you teach to the outcome. You teach what you're trying to ultimately get at the end. So the questions that I want you to start discerning as it relates to your challenge groups, as it relates to your content, what's your desired outcome? What do you really want to get from the people that you are actually working with? What is that? What do you want your people to actually experience in your groups? And then finally, what expectations do you have of your challengers within the groups? What are those expectations, and are they spelled out clearly? So just like a classroom, guys, desired outcome for any student in math. What do you want your students to experience in that class to ultimately help them get those outcomes? And then what expectations do you have? And then ultimately, how do you help hold them somewhat accountable to that, or how do you remind them of that accountability, right? And then there are quote-unquote consequences. Now, ultimately, in our situation, it's not like you get a grade or you get whatever. It's ultimately you don't get the results that you ultimately want with these people, okay? So guys, when it relates to this for desired outcome, what would be a potential desired outcome for a challenger at the end of one of our challenges? What does that look like? Just shout something out. They might lose a pound or two, maybe, right? That would be one. They might know more. Okay, tell you what, let's just do this in the chat because it might be easiest. Okay, so let's all head over to the chat. Go fast. Okay, get a transformation. What else? Yep, learn how to meal prep. Mindset shift that I put. Yep. Have a great experience. Okay, Bonnie, what does a great experience mean? Good. Yep. Good. So guys, for me, just being straight on this kind of stuff, yeah, feeling belonging. Yeah, that's so good. And honestly, when we have that, that's when you start to create a culture and a tribe. They're going to be less apt to quit a tribe. They'll want to be part of them because they experience kind of a family doing it together. And when they do that, they don't want to leave that family, right? They want to keep at it, which is really, really great. So guys, I really want to encourage you to be thinking as it relates to just broaden out a bit, because some of the things so I think it's really important to go, yeah, of course they're going to help with the nutrition. Of course, we're going to help them develop the workouts and of course, Shakeology, and that's my three, what I call vital habits. But if we pull out to a broader picture on that, that's ultimately what I call healthy habits. So if we get people to develop a healthy habits, but the only way they're going to get the healthy habits to happen is pull out even broader, right? You got to pull out broader. Why would they want healthy habits? Oh, because they see themselves as valuable. Oh, because they see themselves as needing something like this. Because, oh, they need to, they feel better about themselves, not just physically, but psychologically, they feel like they're making progress. You know what I mean? It's broader. It's got to be bigger than just, because anybody can coach people on, guys, anybody can go, like, literally copy paste most of the things from most of the guides. And I'm okay with some of that. I'm okay, don't get me wrong. And we'll show that here just in a quick second from the challenge group guides. But if that's all you're going to give them, then I think we're in trouble. Now, I would say this with a caveat, that the Shift Shop challenge guides were the best ever created by Beachbody, by far. Okay? They really did a much better job, because I think they got more of the heart and spirit of Chris in them, who is more of a motivational kind of a guide. Okay, would you guys agree on that? Yeah? Potentially, if you guys who saw that guide. Okay? So that's good stuff. Okay, so hold on. I'm going to close this real fast. So guys, really, this is my wife. It's called Montessori teaching. She's a Montessorian, which is a thing, and she talks about what's called the prepared environment. And when a student in Montessori method approaches a classroom, you guys probably, if you don't know about Montessori, but it tends to be very self-led teaching within a structure that's already prepared for them. Okay, so they have certain lessons that they'll progress through, but ultimately they are self-pacing. So there might be 20 different kids in the room, all really very quiet, because my wife's doing excellent at this, but all at different stages doing different things, which is pretty crazy to think about, but it's beautiful when you see it. Okay, same kind of thing applies. This is why I see this with our challenges, guys, because everybody's at different levels. Some people are hitting right now. In my current group, I got people doing Insanity Max 30, alongside of people doing Shift Shop, alongside of people who are doing UV2, and everything in between. Okay, so I would say we need to be able to help them at their different levels, but that prepared environment. So for me, it's these 5 kick points. Start them well, get some initial follow-ups to make sure that they're tracking. Then you follow up on a weekly basis, and it can't just be, hey, how's it going? It's going to be more of, hey, checking up on you. I looked at your tracker track. This looks like you've done these things. That's great. Awesome. What's your next step? Or how are you, like, in what ways might you be struggling? What ways are you feeling good about this? Like, develop you can even do a little mini script for that each week, and then just tweak it a little bit so you're not being too robotic, and then be helping them take that next step. Okay? At the end of a challenge, then you got next steps. Are they going to join the next challenge? And then finally, coaching opportunity, which of course you can present. Okay? Now, as this relates to, hold on 2 seconds. Thank you. So that's this. And then what we're going to do is, I'm going to share with you, different share. This one, and you guys probably are aware of this, but we're going to just show it. Hold on, screen share it really, really fast so everybody knows where Safari is. All right, my challenge tracker. Okay, let me pull this over to the side. Okay. Thank you. Okay, group feed. So on mychallengetracker.com, you know where this is. Probably know where this is. Just making sure everybody does know. Challenge group guides. And it takes you to TBB Coach 411. Literally every single program in the thing, and it says Challenge Group Guide. Okay? So let's do this example, Beachbody On Demand. Maybe you're doing a group that is a mixed group of all different programs. Okay? Getting started. Gives you the whole prep week, right? Gives you different things. So these guys are great ways where you can go, you know what? I love that, but I want to, I'm going to take this, but then I'm going to expand on it. This would be a good day, good example. Day 6, what are your goals for this challenge? Setting goals are crucial, blah, blah, blah. You might do your own picture. Okay, goals. Got goals, and you're writing the goal down. Hey, look, everybody's got me. I got goals, or whatever. However that rolls. Oh my gosh, look who's in the picture. Is that John? That is John, right there. That's John Dilling right there, guys, right from our team. So anyway, very cool. But so this is a whole thing, and then you can kind of choose and say, hey, I'm going to take a lot from this, or I'm not going to take so much from this. But the point being, and this is the big deal, guys, make sure, and this is the thing that I think many folks fail at. They either ask too much. Now listen to this, guys, okay? This is where I want you to listen up. We ask too much of people in our challenges to do too many things. Wait, it's too complicated. I want you to jump through a hoop, and I want you to wear a bunny costume while you take a picture of yourself with a selfie and your Shakeology in a plank pose. Right? It's a crazy. We ask them way too much to do, or the timing's not right, and then they're already done with their workout, and you've got some people who are early and they miss it and they don't read. And I can tell you this, guys, that you're probably not going to get people who are going to read your post first thing, okay, before they work out. They're probably not going to be those first thing workout. They're going to do it before that. So I would encourage you, if you do want them to do something for their workout, you better tell them. You better maybe give them some kind of prep, but be clear. Then I would say vary the engagement. Sometimes it's a picture post. Sometimes it's a text thing you're going to have them write out. Sometimes it's just simply a phrase of the day. Sometimes it's a reflection. Sometimes it's a funny picture, whatever. But mix up the interactions, and I promise you'll get better engagement. I promise you, okay? But if you're always doing phrase, and some people, honestly, it's okay, today we're going to do a little mini contest, and we're going to do a week's worth phrase of the day. So that means they guarantee that they hit, and then at the end of it, you're going to give out some Beachbody swag or whatever, or however you want to do it. That might be something to engage to be able to engage them a little bit more. Okay? So good stuff. Clear on that, guys? There's your challenge. Now, really, really fast, stop this share. I'm going to go to the other one. Let's see. Yep, he did. He won $1,500. All right. And last one, where is Roman? Okay, this is in the Coach Club. Go Team Challenge Group Posts Guide. Okay? So this is, I kind of cover this. Effective on-ramp, this is the challenge process. Quick win, help them stay engaged, celebrate their success, discern next steps. This explains that all. There's some vital habits you want to be teaching. Active questions. Have I done my best to eat according to my goals and to move according to my goals? Think according to my goals. There's some different things. Okay? I also talk about how to set up the challenge tracker with the My Challenge Tracker. There's a follow-up email if you have that. And then I've got prep days in here. Now, these are the things I use on a regular basis. Not necessarily every challenge, but pretty close. And now we're building this out, and this is a good example of themes that you could use. Sunday, reflect, measurements. Monday, motivation, share progress. Tuesday, Shakeology. Wednesday, Wacky Wednesday contest. Thursday, recipes. Friday, Fun Flex Friday. Meals prep on Saturday. Got it? That's real simple. Now I actually have full posts here. Day 1, day 2. Kind of takes you through different things that you can do and suggestions. Okay? So there's a guide. It's not a fully complete guide. I'm kind of been working in and out on it as I've been doing things. I probably should actually just go and paste some things that I've got from my older challenges and complete the guide. But but you can kind of get the idea of some of the stuff. All stealable, all stuff that you can potentially use. Okay? And I would say this, guys, just the last thing before we kind of sign off here is I would say this. The more you can be giving some thought to a process of people, and this is where I've been lately, versus the day-to-day. So, like, what's the trend for the week? What are you going to kind of try to accomplish for the week? And then be hitting on some of those points, encouraging that, versus new thing every day. It actually helps people make progress a little bit better versus like, go chase that bird, chase that bird, chase that bird, if it makes sense. Like this week, guys, we're going to focus in on, this might be we're going to focus on 2 lunches, 2 dinners. I want to know exactly what you're eating. What are your 2 lunches and 2 dinners this week? Like, that's all we want. I don't care what you eat for the rest of all your other meals. But 2 lunches and 2 dinners, honestly, guys, if you would probably agree with this, if we got people to plan, prep, and portion 2 lunches and 2 meals, 2 dinners, think about what that would do for the rest of their nutrition for the rest of the week. Seriously, if they just cook enough of it, they probably have enough meals for most of the week, right? Breakfast is easy. Don't worry about breakfast. That's often Shakeology or something really super and simple. But then you got your snacks and you got that stuff, so it should be really, pretty well set. Any questions, guys, about this? Let's stop the share. Or comments?
Yeah, Dan, I'm sorry, I didn't catch where that document is at.
Yeah, it's in the Coach Club. It's in the files of the Coach Club, I believe. Let me make sure. Let's see. Not events. So I'm going to go team. Where are you, go team? There. Let me just make sure it's there. I believe it is. So you go to the files on the left side. I know I'm not showing this right now. I will share it though real fast. There we go. Okay, hold on. Should be files section. Hold on. All these people. Hold on. What was that? Challenge guide. No. Well, I'll be hornswaggled. You even got it. So I will make sure that there is a file that is set. Okay? Actually, I can do it right now. So that would be this guide. And we're going to share it. And that will be this. Boom. Copy. And here we go. So up, create a doc. Title, we're going to call it Challenge Group Guide New 2017. Posting Guide, that's what we'll call it. And here's the link. It's Google Doc. And that should do it. I'm not going to allow you to edit that because that could be bad. Okay, there we go. And I think that's it. Any other good questions for the good of the order? Thank you all for being on. And we'll post this in the Go Team Coach Club so y'all can tag your downline. That'd be great. Thanks so much for being on, guys. Really, really appreciate you. And looking forward to some good ending of our August month here. And then it's back to school, baby, back to you. And really, if you're struggling right now, I just would say this final thing. If you're struggling a little bit, try pretty normal. Because a lot of people are trying to set up new routines, man. It's a really difficult time right at this next 2 or 3 weeks. Be pretty different. That means you're going to have to really dig in. But the funny thing is, though, I would say at the same time, I literally had a gal today. She like flat out goes, Dan, I'm sick. I'm tired of it. I got to do something today. Like today. So she's like, join our challenge. So it's like, yeah. So they're out there. We just got to make sure we're finding them. Okay. Thanks, guys. Hope you have a great night. Thanks for being on. Woo.
Good night.
See you.